So I just had my worst pop-up experience ever, and I learned a few things. A few things that can help you decide whether or not a pop-up is worth it. So I'll walk you through those, but before I do, let me explain the scenario that happened. So I signed up to participate in a pop-up event that I've done several times in the past. It's through an organization that's local to Atlanta, and this organization has a lot of young women, and the pop-up is held at a bar at night, so usually around 7 to 11. And what they do is they have a girls' night out. So they bring in members from the organization, and they do a lot of fun giveaways and contests and provide incentives to come out and shop and just enjoy girls' night out. The bar offers drink specials, all of that good stuff, right? In the past, this event hasn't been amazing with sales, but it's been enough to make it worth it. Because even if someone isn't coming to shop with you, a lot of the time they'll pick up your flyer and follow you on social media later or check out your website later and then shop with you. So it's always good to attend these local pop-ups to get your name out there with the local customer base. People love shopping local, they love shopping small business. So it's always a good incentive to participate in these pop-ups for that reason alone. But there are some things to consider, which once again I'll tell you guys in a bit. But with this pop-up event, this time it was different. This time there were no members from the organization. There were no people that came out to the girls' night out. No one from this organization came out, right? And usually what also is helpful with this pop-up is people from the bar who aren't a member of the organization will be curious, and they'll come over because it's basically set up. There's two sides of the bar. People who are on one side of the bar, they'll be curious and they'll come over and ask questions and then shop with us, and it's a great time. I've done this event enough times where I've met some of the same people over and over again. I've met people with different local events who have shopped with me in the past, so usually it's fine, right? Well, this time was different. Once again, no one came from the organization, and hardly anyone came from the bar side. So I'm there with 5 other vendors, and we're all kind of just sitting there puzzled, like, where's everybody? What's going on? Why is no one showing up? This is not like normal. What's going on? There was one person who was brand new, and it was their first time ever doing that pop-up. And let me tell you, not one of us broke even. And that is so bad, because when you are attending a pop-up event, you want to do more than break even. And what I mean by break even is usually there's a cost to participate in these pop-ups or vendor shows, and you want to sell more items than you spent on the cost. There's actually a range that I'll tell you about in just a minute. So we're all sitting here puzzled, like, what the heck? We finally have the event organizer come over, and we're like, where are all the people at? And she just immediately gets defensive, and she starts to complain that management at the bar has been horrible to work with, and they're not promoting the event, and she doesn't offer any solutions. She just complains and blames management. So we're all very frustrated, because at the least she could have offered us some solution, offered to refund us at a minimum, but none of that happened. So lessons learned from that night. Let me walk you through what I should have done, what I normally would do. I guess I just got too comfortable at this pop-up event. So let's go through them. So number 1, is the organizer of the group promoting the event on their social media pages? So in the past, this organizer was always promoting the event, hyping up the vendors. She would share stories of the vendors and Instagram posts, and this time it, it was very minimal. So you want to check on whether the organizer is going to be promoting. You can actually ask the organizer when you sign up or when you're applying what they're going to do to promote the event. 2, you want to check out their Instagram following and see what type of followers they have. Are they engaged? Just because they have a large following doesn't mean their people are actually engaged. You can check to see, are people liking the post? If likes are hidden, you can see if people are commenting, etc., etc. You want to make sure that the event organizer has a large following, because if they have a small following and they're promoting it to that small following, what are the odds that a lot of people are going to show up? You also want to do the same for the bar that is hosting the event as well. So in this case, there was a bar and there was an organizer, and they both should have been promoting the event on social media. Sometimes an organization holds a pop-up and there's no third party to support the event. So you just want to look to see who's involved and if they're promoting the event. You can also ask them, are they paying for marketing, or are they investing in marketing to also promote the event? Because there are some events, especially the big ones, they're going to be spending a lot of money on ads to get people to come out to the event. Now, I'm not saying that every group needs to do that, but if they have a small following, that can make up for it. Or if they don't have a local following, that can make up for it. Because it's all about your local, it's all about the local customers, making sure that they're going to come to the event. Because if they have a large following in another city, how do you know it's worth it? You also want to consider, if you've done the event in the past, were the sales worth it to come back? For me, I should have realized that over time, sales had been going down. And the last time I did this pop-up, it was January. So I assumed that in January, people shop less and it's colder, so they're less likely to go out to events, and they might have a goal to spend less money, or they spent too much over the holidays, etc. I assumed that had to do with the low volume of sales in my previous pop-up event with this group. But I should have realized that there was a steady decline over time. And what I did realize is that the organizer had started to get involved in other things outside of this event that she was holding. She was in school and she was kind of going in a different direction, and I didn't pick up on it because I wasn't really paying attention to her social media accounts. So if I had been, I would have realized she was spending a lot less time on this group and focusing on other things. So in the end, this event only hurt the vendors. Girls Night Out was a bust, and the only people it hurt was us vendors. So we all ended up packing up early and leaving feeling defeated. None of us got our money back. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to whether or not people are actually going to show up at the event. You can't always predict it, but you want to do the best you can to make sure people will show up. So what to look out for when deciding whether to sign up for a pop-up event. You want to take a look at the event organizer's social media, ask if they're going to promote the event, promote you as a vendor. It's great when they can spotlight you. Some events will charge you money to be highlighted or sponsored, but others will promote you on their social media page. You also want to make sure that the cost of the event makes sense for you, because ideally you want to be making at least 3 times the cost of the event. So if it costs $100 to participate, you need to make at a minimum $300 for it to really be worth your time. Now, if you are gaining a lot of social media followers, or people are coming back to your website after the event to shop with you, then it can still be worth it if you aren't making 3 times the cost. But something to consider, especially if you have attended the event in the past and you're deciding whether to attend it again. You also want to look at the target audience of the event. So if the event is targeting local college kids, but you sell children's clothing, probably doesn't make sense to participate, because typically college kids are not shopping for children's clothing. So you want to look at the target audience that the event is targeting as well. And lesson learned, don't get too busy with life that you stop paying attention to what is happening with the event organizers of the events you're attending. Lesson learned, always pay attention. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you subscribe. I have lots of great videos about how to plan a pop-up event, what types of items you need to bring for your pop-up event, how to make it look great. I have tons of videos that show my past pop-up events that did go well, and so much more. So make sure you're subscribed. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.